Welcome crafters! Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a diagonal weave macrame belt. Here's an example of a belt with a diagonal design, though yours may be different depending on the colors you choose and the order you put things in. Now let's take a look at the materials we need. For the design I'm going to show you today, I'm using the colors blue and yellow, but you can choose any colors you want depending on the design you are looking for. You will also need scissors, a D-ring, and a lighter. That'll come at the end. If you're interested in using the same material I'm using for your project, you might want to look into Bonnie Craft Cord. It's great for making macrame belts because it comes in a variety of colors, and it also comes in many different sizes, anything from 2mm to 8mm. The stuff we're using today is 6mm cord. You will also need a ring of some sort to attach your belt. Here we have a couple different sizes of O-rings and a D-ring. And of course it's a D-ring because it has a long and then a round to make a D shape. I'm going to be using the D-ring for this project because I like the flat surface that I can attach all the cords to. It makes things a little easier for me. If you would like to purchase these D or O-rings, I recommend Country Brook Designs. They have a variety of sizes and ship really quickly. Now that you've selected the colors you want for your cord, we need to section out 6 strands. For this project, I'm thinking of doing 3 and 3, just to keep things simple. To figure out the total length you need for your cord, you need to measure 3 to 4 times the total length you want your final belt to be. So for example, if I want a 5-foot long belt, I need to measure out 3 times 5, 15, for each strand. And again, we're going to be doing 6 of these. If you're not completely sure of your weave style, I recommend using 4 times your total length. So for example, if I want that 5-foot belt, I would instead multiply times 4. 5 times 4, 20 feet. And that may seem like a lot, but remember that whatever you're going to measure out, you're automatically going to be folding in half. So instead of 20 feet, you're going to end up with 10. Instead of 15, you're looking at 7.5. You can either use a ruler to measure your cord out, or if you want, you can just do arm spans. So holding the cord one end to the other, opening your arms wide, that's usually about 5 to 6 feet, depending on how tall you are. I'm going to do this 3 times because I'm about 6 feet tall. 3 times 6, looking at 18. That's right around the middle of times 3 or times 4 for my 5-foot belt. Now let's take our D-ring and we're going to add our first cord. Here I have my blue cord, and I'm going to take the 2 ends and put them together. I'm going to pull them all the way until I reach the end. And now I've got this loop. I'm going to take the loop and put it through my ring. I'm going to then grab all of my cord and pull it through that loop I've created. And there's my first one. I'm going to do this again with another blue strand. So I take my blue, I'm going to find both ends, put them together, and pull all the way to keep each strand the same length. Then once I get to my end, I'm going to put it through my ring. I'm going to grab all of this extra cord and pull it through the loop I've created. And now I have 2 strands on my D-ring. I'm going to keep doing this until I have all 6 strands. Okay, so now we have all 6 strands attached to our D-ring. My 3 yellow and 3 blue. And again, because they're folded over, instead of 6, we're actually working with 12 strands. This will be just fine for when we start our weave. The next thing you're going to want to do is attach your D-ring to some steady surface. This could be your toe, a doorknob, a hook, whatever works, so long as it's not going to move and it's going to allow you to have proper tension on your belt. So now I have all of my strands laid out, and I've got them spread out so they're easier for you to see. We're going to be starting on this side of our belt and working our way across. Either way works. If you want to start on the left or right, it does not matter. However, we want to stay consistent. So if I'm starting on this side, I will move across, and then the next row I'll start on this side again and move across, each time staying on the same side. Let's start with the strand furthest to the right. We're going to pick this up and we're going to go over our next strand. We're then going to pick up the strand after that and go underneath. Following that, we're going to go over and underneath. We're going to continue this weaving process going over and under all of the strands until we've gone all the way across. So since I just went under the blue one, I will be going over the next one. Then under, over, under, and over. Now this yellow strand is on my far left instead of the far right. I'm going to take my new strand and follow the same process, going over, then under, over, under, over, under, and again going all the way across, going over and under each strand. When I come to that yellow strand, that's my new far left, so I'm going to still want to go over that one and pull the previous yellow down. This creates my new furthest strand. I'm going to do the same thing, starting with my new right, and I'm going to keep that process going. Now, while you're doing this, you want to make sure you keep the tension up. Right now I'm super loose, so I'm going to want to make sure that this gets tightened up. Alright, so here's my next one. I'm going to take my right, and I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, under. Now you may notice that the previous strand I had gone over and this one I'm going under. So if you lose track and you're not quite sure which one you're supposed to be doing, you can always look at your previous strand and that may give you a clue as to what you're doing. Also, if you do make a mistake, you may notice that you have two going over, one right on top of the other. If that happens, just unravel a little and go right back to where you were. At the beginning, it sometimes helps to weave a little bit before you try to fix the tension. So I'm going to do a few rows and see how I do from there. Over and under the entire way across. The hardest part is starting out, definitely. Once you get a few rows done and you can tighten things up, it gets a lot easier. So now I've got a few rows done, but it's definitely pretty loose. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm just going to start pulling on these cords really gently. And already I'm seeing that it's tightening up. And again, once you do a few more rows, you can go back and make it even tighter. So I'm still working with my yellows. I have 2 more yellows to go before I switch to blue. So if some of your cords get tucked under, just go back and try again. Here, I'm going over and then under, all the way across. And that's it. Over and under, and then practice making sure that you have the right amount of tension. If something is too loose, tighten it up. If it's too tight, go back and loosen it. It's definitely easier to go back and tighten than it is to loosen. So try to make sure that your tension does not get too tight. So now that you've reached the end of your belt, I'm going to show you how to tie it off. There are several different ways to finish off a belt. This one is going to create a ladder as you move down the belt. So let's start by taking 2 strands. Here I'm going to take a yellow and a blue. I'm going to take the blue strand and I'm going to lay it across the top. And it creates this loop over here. I'm going to take the yellow one and also create a loop, except instead of going on top, I'm going to take the whole thing and go underneath. Now I'm going to take that first loop, the blue, and I'm going to put it through the yellow loop. I'm going to take the yellow and bring it up through the blue. And I'm going to pull tight. It may take a little wiggling to get the very first knot on your belt, but once you get a couple on there, it fits pretty well. There we go. Now, using the same 2 strands, we're going to do this again. This time the yellow is on this side and the blue is on the other, but we're still going to follow the same process. This time the yellow goes on top, and the blue goes on the bottom. I'm going to pull the blue up through the yellow loop, and I'm going to put the yellow strand down through the blue loop, and pull tight. We're going to keep doing this, and as you move, you're going to notice it switches between blue and yellow going all the way down, creating this ladder look. So now that the blue is on this side, I'm going to put it on top, and the yellow is going to go underneath. Again, pull the yellow up through the blue loop and put the blue down through the yellow loop, pulling tight. We're going to keep doing this until we've reached a length that we're comfortable with. You may want a really long knot on your belt, you may want a short one. It's up to you. So now that we have all the knots we want, and again, you can always do more. For this, I'm just doing a few because otherwise I'm going to run out of cord pretty quick. We need to finish off the ends of our cords to keep them from fraying. Otherwise, this will just keep unraveling and go all the way up. So I've already done it on these cords where I've taken a lighter and I've burned the edges just a little bit, and that kind of glues everything together. So take your lighter, and you don't need it to be too close to the cord, just close enough to start melting, not so close that it's going to burn. And you're slightly going to melt it. There we go, all done. So with that, my belt is finished. Thank you guys for watching this video, and happy crafting!